Hey, it's John.
And it's Dennis. And today we're talking about Black Friday, joined by our guest from Relatable Situations, Juan. Would you like to
Hey,
say a couple words?
hey, how you doing, fellas? I really appreciate you inviting me to the show. I'm looking forward to discussing Black Friday. I think it's an interesting topic, and I think that those who have not experienced it, if you get an opportunity, you may want to, kind of jump in, but just make sure you're wearing a helmet.
Awesome. So yeah, as we mentioned, we're talking about Black Friday, a big sale corporate event. I would say, in huge reduced prices on various electronics and just all goods also ever like down to 70s or even like 50% off of everything that we kind of want. Now everybody's like experience has been kind of different from overall throughout the years. And on the Canadian side, it's something that kind of been introduced. I would say like maybe like 5 or 8 years, John, if you would say, right? But it's this is something that has been happening a lot longer on the American side, right? One.
Yeah, it's been going on for a long time. I mean, I don't know exactly when Black Friday started, but I mean, I'm going back ooh, probably at least. So let's see, I've been married now 13 years, and it was going on way before then. So I want to say probably in the neighborhood of 20, at least 20 years, if not longer.
Wow.
Where it was, yeah, I mean, where it was this phenomenon back in the day where people would literally not sleep. They would get if they did sleep, they would be up by say 3 o'clock in the morning so that they could be in line waiting for the goods that they wanted by say 5 o'clock. And yeah, it's a lot, and I mean we'll get into it further, but I mean it was a really big deal, and I mean it still is, but it's just different now. It's changed a little bit.
Mm-hmm. It's more of a
Yeah.
traditional thing, right? It's like
Yeah,
it comes right after Thanksgiving, right? Like after like a huge
yeah.
meal, you would say. Then afterwards, the next day, it's like shop till you drop kind of situation, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So a lot of people, as we were talking offline, we were talking about this. So a lot of people, they actually mix Thanksgiving into Black Friday, where there's no sleep. There's situations that I remember where um, a friend of mine, his wife, would she would fix a wonderful Thanksgiving dinner. She would invite me and my family over. But her schedule would be primarily built around, okay, so Wednesday I'll be cooking all day and basically all night. Thursday we'll have Thanksgiving dinner. I'm kind of still up, maybe a couple of hours of sleep, but from Thursday on through Friday, say afternoon, there's no sleep. She would literally, have the Thanksgiving dinner, have people over, do all the cooking, do all the cleaning, and she was out of the house by say 4, so at the latest 4, to be in line waiting for the sales that she could get at 5 o'clock in the morning, and that was a common ritual around many houses here in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Let me just kind of back up here because, for our audience, Dennis and I, we're from Toronto, Canada. Juan, can you tell us like where you're from? Is
Yeah,
it kind of different in different states? Because, I think it makes sense for our audience to kind of get a perspective of North America. There's so many places here.
yeah, yeah. That's a good point. So I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm currently in North Carolina, but I'm on the East Coast. Either way, and yeah, you're right. It is different in certain areas, but I would say in the bigger cities here in the United States, it's chaos. That's the best way to put it. It's a situation where, imagine Bedlam, where kind of like every person for themselves. Uh, because of the great deal that was mentioned earlier, people will literally, do any and everything in order to make sure that they get one of those. And I mean, I've actually participated a few times on Black Friday with some of the events. And thankfully, I didn't get into any crazy things. But I mean, if you search online, you'll see some of the videos, especially back in the day, where huge fights broke out. I mean, people were getting cut and beaten up and stomped and trampled. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I'm not sure how it is in Canada, but I know here it's very violent.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
up in Canada, my experience, like Black Friday itself, right? It was just it's a little bit of a social event, like everybody's waiting in
Okay.
line like really early in the morning. You maybe strike a conversation with the person in front or back of you, just like talk about what you expecting to get, kind of thing, right? Just because everybody's
Right.
in the cold, and trying to figure out how to pass time faster, right? And
Yeah.
once the door opens, there is a little bit of shoving, but like you mentioned, Juan, like we're so used to seeing so many videos or like people like being trampled and stuff like that. We just get a little bit
Yeah.
of some pushes here and there, and that's about it. It's a little bit of an
Uh,
ordeal, but it
uh,
has our side has like I mentioned, it's something still. I wouldn't say new, but it's still
mhm.
something more recent, because we're
Okay.
more used to something called Boxing Day. I'm not sure if in the
Mm.
states but because
No.
you mentioned Black Friday tradition. You have Thanksgiving and you have day after, which is Black Friday for shop till drop, right? For us,
Right.
Boxing Day was the day after Christmas. It's so the
Oh.
26th.
Okay.
So we had that, and that was not there was no violence, but that's when our shop till drop day was, and that used to
Okay.
be one day, and then it grew to like Boxing Week, which lasted for
Oh
a
wow.
whole duration, and then there was point even Boxing Month, right? Like the whole month
Oh
was
my
like all
God.
discounted, so it kind of grew, but then somehow in some way it focused back on turning to Black Friday. And I
Hmm.
didn't know when it started either, but it was now located through the last Friday of November. And then
Hmm.
it always, the following Monday, we have something called Cyber Monday, which is
Yep.
only specific to like electronics, and you can only get it online. Like there's no in store,
Yeah.
it's only like that kind of platform, right? So that's
Yeah.
what our experiences are on in the northern part of North America.
So yeah. So to that point, there's a lot of ways that we could go with this conversation, but some of the things that come to mind for me when I think about Black Friday, I think about and I mean I'm not trying to bash anybody who enjoys it, but the selfishness that comes from Black Friday in regards
Mm-hmm.
to you literally have to armor up because it's going to be a battle. It's going to be it's more than just pushing and shoving. I mean it can get really really ugly, and people I guess during that time they have no regard for their fellow man at all at
Mm-hmm.
all. I mean, it is literally, dog eat dog type situation where you want to make sure that your child gets that Barbie. So because of that, if I got to knock down grandma, then so be it. Move out of the way, sister. I need that Barbie. Um, one of the situations that I've seen, and I mean I wasn't involved in this, but I saw it online and it was all over the news. I think this woman, I mean, I know she had some broken bones, but I think she got really, really hurt because she got kind of smushed against the door. In other words, they were trying to get into the store, and the store was trying to open up. And when they saw them trying to open the door, the crowd just kind of rushed, the front of the door. And there was like this issue because the woman, they couldn't open the door and they couldn't move the crowd back. So she kind of got smushed in the middle, and she sustained a lot of damage. And that was like all over the news, I think, for a couple of weeks, where they were talking about, is there a need to try to curtail this kind of activity? Where we have folks, almost killing themselves in order to get the latest gadget or toy at a discounted price. And I mean, I remember, a lot of the discussions were centered around trying to get some order to this because it's total chaos. I mean, there is no order, and that's just the one aspect. I mean, we can talk about the other ones, like about the employees and how they feel about it, but it was just a really, really, really bad time when it first became really, really big.
Mm-hmm. It also makes me think like during those times the store themselves, they kind of don't pay additional security at all, right? Like, they
Right.
try to maximize their revenue, right? So they lower
Right.
that expense. At the same time, it's kind of free publicity, right? Having to upload like a
Yeah.
video is like Target's having a fight here, Best Buy's having some injuries there, like
Right.
people see like, wow, Best Buy is, something must be really going on at Best Buy that makes people
Right.
kill each
I
other,
gotta
right?
get there.
Yeah, right. So
There were back in the day. There were a couple of big audio and video stores that used to compete. I don't know if you guys had them, but there was a chain of stores here in the United States called Circuit City. Circuit City used to always do battle with Best Buy and with Target, with Walmart, where they would all try to compete to have the best price on the latest Xbox or on the latest video games. And Circuit City was always known for, when it came to Black Friday, these crazy DVD, or back in the day, it was CD prices. Like, it may be like the hottest artist that was out at the time, and that CD you can maybe get for like $2. And it was like, oh my God, I gotta get that CD. It's $2. So people would be, in line forever to get a copy of this, high profile music artist for $2. And that, of course, was a leader to trying to get people into the store. In other words, a value leader to try to get them in. And then once they're into the store, once all of the $2 CDs are gone, here's some other things that we have on sale as well, so on and so forth, to try to, cross sell. But that was a huge tool that a lot of stores use to attract more business.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So have you guys realized that the deals are getting worse and worse nowadays, or is that getting better? How's it on your end? Because I know our deals, I feel like they're getting worse and worse, probably because competition's pretty fierce. I think when you mentioned Circuit City, we used to have Future Store and Best Buy fight off. I don't know if there's Future Store in the States or it's just a Canadian thing. Do you remember that
I'm
time?
not familiar with them. So I'm not really familiar with a Future Store. They may be here, but I'm just not familiar with them. But yeah, I will confirm what you're saying. I think what's happened is the pricing wars that were the big thing have gotten watered down. It's kind of like, all right, so I'm a big guy, right? So I like sweet. But imagine having your favorite cake all the time. So what has happened is a lot of the stores have adapted to the idea that, we can make our entire quarter's revenue on Black Friday by lowering, prices on certain things. And then somebody has a great idea. Well, you know what? Why do we have to necessarily wait till Black Friday? We can lower the prices, a little bit for say a week or, whatever period of time that they're thinking about. And what that has caused is it's watered down the effect of Black Friday, because how low can you go? I mean, at some point you have to make profit, right? So if you are in a situation where you have lowered the prices so much that they don't seem like the great deals they once were, then people are like, I can get that, item, around the same price any time of the year. I don't have to wait and fight through those crowds for Black Friday. So I'm good to go. I'm not going to go. And that's kind of dwindled down the crowds, as well as, the violence that I talked about. At some point, you have to think to yourself, at what cost do I want to get this customer in the door? If I am attached consistently to violence around that time frame, is that a good look for my business? You know what I mean?
Oh, that makes sense. Personally, for me, like when it comes to these things, it's I shop based on what I need, right? So let's say, for example, if I do move into a house, I'm like, oh, I need a new TV. I'm like, and it's like we're a month away. I can wait, like those kind of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to think it's like, our technology didn't change at all within a year's time. Like what's really making me get out of my chair to wait in line, right? Like if you think about it, back in the day, it's like flat screen TVs are new, right?
Yeah.
You save space. Now it's cheap. I'm gonna go grab it. 4K.
Right.
Oh, that sounds interesting now. And then afterwards, like then after when they do 8K, it's like, do I really need 8K? can my item process 8K, right? And it's like, oh, I have a tablet now. Do I really need to upgrade a marginally better tablet? Maybe not so much, right? I think it comes hand in hand, right? Like maybe there's also like a technological advance as well as
Yeah.
price, right? That where it meets that equilibrium that makes people
Yep.
want to get out too, right?
Yep. I also think too, the experience itself. Using my food analogy, if you enjoy a certain type of thing so much that you want to do it often, after a while, it kind of loses its cachet. In other words, the whole idea of fighting, people in order to get that one item, for that price that you really want, it kind of loses its cachet because you start thinking about, okay, so, like you just said, do I really need this item? And am I saving as much as what my time is worth? One of the things that we talked about offline was that time aspect. Back when it was in its heyday, it was something that was new for a few years. In other words, every year it's like they would top themselves with, we've gone from 50% to 35% off, and you can get this, one item for $1, when normally it's $15. But after a while, that kind of gets old, and it kind of, it gets boring. So then you start weighing I guess you kind of do like a cost analysis. Like, all right, so I have to get up early. I have to be out in the cold because normally it's cold around that time. I have to fight off these people. I have to, risk getting beaten up in order to get, this new Barbie for my daughter. Does she really need that Barbie right this second? No. You know what? Christmas is a ways away. Either I'll order it online, which is something that we can talk about, or guess what? I'll pay, a couple of bucks extra, and then just keep my sanity, so to speak.
Right. Now, my question to you guys is there anything that you want for Black Friday this year?
so for me, I'm a little bit older. I'm a 52-year-old guy, so I'm kind of in the place, and I've been this way for a long time now. If I want something, I'm gonna buy it. If it's something that is a stupendous deal, my thoughts are, I guess because of the advances in technology, let me hop online and see if I can find that same item for a similar price online so it can be delivered to me. I guess I've gotten lazy. I mean, I'm not as keen about trudging out into the cold on a Friday morning when I can sleep in. Especially after having a great Thanksgiving dinner, the day before. So I'm good. I'm not that concerned with rushing out to the store so early in the morning in order to save a couple of bucks. My time is more important to me.
Yeah, that's a good approach, Juan. And yeah, same for me. I think it's that, time value, right? Was it really worth, torturing yourself for that, morning 5-hour wait just to get into the store to buy something, just save a couple of bucks.
Right.
I think as guys here, I'm a little bit of an impulse buyer. So, if I need to buy something, I'll just buy it, whether you pay the premium or not, that time is very valuable. And I know we spoke on time too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, for me, I don't have anything on the list to buy either. However, this is the time of year that I know that I've worked in telecom in my previous life, or previous job, and I know that they try so hard to lower their monthly rates for your contracts and whatnot. So they try their best. They start planning from June time, make sure the campaigns are on point, to make sure that they get enough subscribers, right? So this is the perfect opportunity if you want to reduce your phone bill, your internet bill, your TV bill, or whatever. Black Friday is the way to go. So for me, it's just that eyeing out what's the best rate that I can lower my monthly bills for the next 1 or 2 years. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, that's something that John and I haven't shared this with you, but like we used to also work at phone kiosks, but we didn't work together, but we worked separately. So we have worked on Black Friday days, and
oh wow. So hold it. Stop right there. So talk to me, fellas. Talk to me. What was that like? I mean, what did you feel, when folks are like clamoring, okay, I want the new iPhone. I know you got it. Give me that price.
So that experience is wild. Why I say wild, I feel like it's deliberately. My company doesn't pay for the IT department that day or something. Systems are always down. It's the worst.
Oh my god!
Yeah. It's not.
Wow.
It's not just like scanning an item and then they pay and they go, right? Because we gotta set up.
Yeah.
We gotta set up accounts. We gotta change plans and things like that.
Ugh.
Always has problems. So we end up having to call into our guys because when systems down, that's our procedure. So we're on the phone. We're like the in-between person of that yelling customer and then this person on the phone trying their fastest to work, right? And then
oh my god,
it was policy that after each interaction you hang up and if another person you kind of dial back in, but sometimes we'll find a workaround and if that person's able to like help you with the whole line that you have, if they're nice enough. And inventory is always an issue. They try to like limit how many people there are, but I worked at like a smaller location, so it wasn't like the malls or anything like that. It was a mall, but we were like a smaller size of mall, right? So our inventory was not like stocked, so that it made sure. It was just kind of like it's not setting up us to fail, but it was a rough time. It's a rough time.
Yeah. It sounds like so to that point, how did that make you feel in regard to the organization that you work for, where you felt like to some degree they kind of set you up to fail? I mean, from my perspective, and I'm so glad that you guys shared the fact that you were kind of in the thick of that. From my perspective, if you're thinking that you're going to have increased traffic, you're going to have increased sales, you want to bump up everything. You want to bump up your inventory. You want to bump up your tech support, everything, so that it makes your job as easy as possible, which would in turn increase sales. I mean, but that's just my viewpoint.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And now that I look back at it, why were the servers and systems down? Wouldn't we, as a big enough business, to prepare for these fluctuations and volatility in traffic? And I worked in the telecom space too, but I think I had the advantage of it's kind of like a brokerage. I can sell from the top three. There's top three telecom providers here, and I just knew that the one that Dennis worked with never worked. So I'm just like, hey, you know what? This other telecom has the same deal. So I think I fortunate to do that. But customers are customers. They're gonna come in with like, hey, I really want that one, and if you want that one, you can sit on the bench for 3 hours, and when the line goes through, then you'll get your phone, right? So it was a fun experience. I think it really built up like a thick skin on how to talk with customers, especially if you've been waiting for 3 hours or 4 hours, you can get a little bit impatient. And I think that's a lot of soft skills you can just build as working in a retail environment. I don't know if Juan, you ever had that in your career, like any maybe Black Friday experience in terms of the relationship front or from like a corporation front, right?
Yeah, so I can't say that I've been in that on that side of it. I mean, many years ago, I sold cars, and cars kind of the car market tried to jump into the Black Friday thing. I mean, they still do. It's not the same thing though, because that's a huge purchase next to a house. That's not, one of the biggest purchases the most people make. So I'm trying to think. Back when I was selling cars, did we have Black Friday? I don't know that we did back then. So my perspective has primarily been on the consumer side. And to y'all's point, I've actually empathized many times with those who were doing, your jobs. And I thought to myself, okay, so here's this person who probably came in, 3, 4 o'clock this morning to get prepared for the crazy crowds that are coming. And, are they getting extra money? Are they earning a higher rate? What is the company doing for them to try to make up for what they're going to have to go through? Because for me, and I come from a psychology background, I have my master's in industrial and organizational psychology. So my thoughts are always on mindset. What is the mindset of that individual who's working the front counter? How do they feel? That's why you heard me say several times as I'm talking to you guys. How do you feel? What did it make you feel? I'm all about the feelings, right? And I think that's important. It's important because if you're an organization that cares about its employees, you got to think about their feelings and what they're going through. Yeah, you want to make your quarterly budget. Well, you actually want to smash your quarterly budget by killing it on Black Friday. But you also want to have long-term tenure with your employees. You want your employees to be happy as much as possible because that's going to, in turn, hopefully, move into the customer space so that they're treating your customers properly. So, I've oftentimes thought about, the companies look at the employee perspective when they make their plans for Black Friday. Do they maybe, if nothing else, after it's done, have a party for them or some kind of celebration or give them a bonus, something that kind of gives them something back for saying, hey, you know what? You really busted your hump on Black Friday, and I appreciate it. Here's an extra, $25 in your pay, or here's a gift card, to Starbucks or something like that. To me, that would go so far to say, you know what, my company really cares. I mean, it was a real pain in the butt dealing with that grandma who needed that Barbie for her granddaughter. But guess what? At the end of the day, she's just, she wanted what she wanted, and I get it. But my company has shown me that they actually care about what I'm going through because, the ones that are making the plans, so to speak, they're at home sleep. The executives who are planning the prices and, making the schedules in terms of, how many folks are going to be working on a given day, the capacity planning, those folks are enjoying their rest. It was you guys who are out on the front line dealing with, the crazy guy who's like, look, I know you got another phone in the back. Give me that phone. I know it's there. The whole 9 yards. So for me, it becomes a situation where I think to myself, as an organization, if I'm, say, a vice president or a CEO of this organization, my thoughts have got to, at some point, bring in the concern of my employees. Everyone from the front line folks to those, as you mentioned, in the tech space or in the support world, to say that, hey, these folks are going to be going through a lot to say, what are my plans to take care of them? They're going to take care of me with these sales, but what am I going to do for them to ensure that they understand that we know what they went through and we care? I mean, have y'all ever thought about that?
I think at that time I didn't think too much because I think I was, what was that, second or third year university. It was like, okay. I was just happy to be employed at that time, right? So, they want me to do this. I'm like, I guess I have to, and as, the years of commitment you spend to it, it's kind of thick in your skin. So you kind of understand, right? My clientele at the time were mostly iPhone users. So now here's a little thing that, I always get annoyed. And this is Apple's pricing strategy.
Okay.
So they always release a new iPhone come like late September, early October. So everybody's mindset is thinking new iPhone plus Black Friday equals my new phone. But no, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen at all. So the pricing strategy at when Apple releases a new phone, what they do with their old phones is actually they price it up to encourage people to buy the new phone, right? However, when it comes to Black Friday time, they don't discount the new one at all. They discounted the old ones. So you get a lot of customers coming to me and be like, why isn't this one on sale? Right? Like, well, why is my telecom company I'm working for discounting this one, right? But then you also need to know, like, most of these offers as well, they're subsidized by, Apple or by the phone company itself, right? So they can't, their hands are tied. They can control more on the monthly subscription costs, right? Like your phone bills and things. They can control partially of that, but the outright phone cost of it. their hands are tied, right? So my clientele were all I wouldn't say 90% iPhone users. So I get that
Okay.
noise back and forth, but me, because I'm experienced, I came in that day thinking, I already pre-thought what I'm gonna say to this person if they were to talk to me about it, right? I'm like, that's my answer. Take it or leave it at that point. There's nothing I can do, right? Yeah.
I'm with you.
I don't know, John, if you had the same kind of experience or what kind of clientele you were like, because you had so many different offerings from multiple companies, right?
Hey, you know what? I think we were fortunate in a job for sales that you get commission based. So, I think that's one that's the advantage of
Okay.
yeah, and that's the perk of having a high volume sales front. But I have been in other retail environment where it's you don't get that luxury of commission. So and from an HR perspective, yeah, I think there's more that employers and companies can do. Unfortunately, retail space, it is a revolving door for most type of roles, whether it's those are kind of entry or positions where it's going to be your step to go to the next step, right? So I feel like there maybe is a little bit of neglect there, probably for
Yeah.
companies to do more, but it is what it is kind
Yeah.
of right now.
But does it have to be that revolving door though, John? I mean, in the sense that I hear your point, and it is valid. Normally in retail, there's normally a lot of high turnover, but that doesn't have to be the case. I mean, one of the things that you could look at, or one of the companies that you could look at, and see that this is true is Walmart. Walmart, yeah, on the lower levels, they often have a ton of a turnover. But there's also folks that have been with Walmart for years and years and years. And I'm not saying that Walmart is the model to follow, but some of the things that Walmart maybe has incorporated, and I don't know, I've never worked there, but maybe some of the things that they have incorporated to entice their employees, others to think about, especially during situations like Black Friday, to say that, hey, I know what you're going through. Maybe I've been through it myself, because I started, at the bottom of the barrel, and now I'm, a high level executive. And I want to try to roll out a plan where, for those who work Black Friday, you get an extra day off or something like that. Or for those who work Black Friday, you get a in-store gift card for $50. Something to show your employees that, look, I do value you. And I think that would go a long way to say to that person, you know what? Truthfully, sometimes Black Friday sucks. All right, in terms of the crowds, the fighting, and everything else. But guess what? I know that if I work Black Friday, I'm going to get this gift card. I'm going to get that bonus, or I'm going to, my company, at the end of the day, my company cares enough about me to say, we know that you're going through a lot of extra stuff this day. So, let's go ahead and give you a little bit of a perk.
Yeah. No, I hear you. That is solid points. I think I need a little bit more, facts and research behind it, and show some numbers, right? We're a number of guys here, Dennis and myself.
Sure.
So I think we're gonna look at it very factually, but from a people's perspective, 100%. You gotta, it's a two-way street. You gotta show that, you value them, that you were here for us when we were trying to build our business, and we're going to be here for you when maybe even times are less busy, right? So it's kind of a two-way street for sure.
Well, guys, we are running a little bit past the 30 minutes. This is a kind of nice, healthy spot to kind of end it off our conversation. Thank you, Juan, for joining our conversation today. Would you like to share, maybe a little bit more about your podcast, Relatable Situations, and where our audience can find you?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I want to say thank you to both of you for having me on your show. I had a great time. It was a great topic and a good conversation about something that, in my opinion, doesn't always get the attention that it deserves. But with my show, Relatable Situations, we focus on, as you might guess, relationships, communication, things that are not so black and white, more kind of touchy-feely things. As you might have gathered from me, I'm kind of emotionally driven person. So I focus on in my conversations in my podcast on things that would lead you to think, where you can find me to either listen to those podcasts or see me is everything from YouTube on the Relatable Situations podcast or on Instagram, also Relatable Situations podcast, and the actual handle on Instagram is relatable underscore situations underscore podcast, or on any of the podcasting streaming networks, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, all of them. You can find me under Relatable Situations podcast. But I definitely, want to thank you guys for inviting me to this episode. I think that you guys are off to a great start. And if I can do anything at all to help you, I definitely will.
Awesome. Thank you so
That means
much.
a lot. Thanks so much for joining us today. Dennis, you want to close us off and then we can...
Yeah, for sure. Here at the Vending Plus, you can also find us on the SoundCloud, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter at all with the handles at the Vending Plus. If you have any interesting topics that you want to share with us, or you want to kind of chime in with your own Black Friday story, you can always use the hashtag the Vending Plus, and we can respond to you and also maybe include you in like a part 2 of our topic. So wherever you are, have a great evening, night, morning, wherever you are. Take care now.
Bye, guys.